Today, we're going to analyze 48 million rows of New York taxi rides for 2025. Yes, those yellow taxis you see in all the films. And we're going to do it from Excel. Now, you're probably thinking Excel only allows about 1 million rows, and you'd be right. So you might also be thinking, okay, this means Power Query, Python, VBA, maybe some SQL. Nope. Today, all you need is Excel and a few functions like SUMPRODUCT, IFERROR, round, and hour. That's it. Codcel is going to handle everything else for you in minutes. Now let's head over to the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission website. We'll click into 2025 and here we can download the yellow taxi trip records for each month. I've already downloaded them all. They come in something called parquet format, if you haven't seen that before. Think of it as a much more efficient, slightly more serious version of CSV. We'll come back to that in a moment. Using Codcel, I've created an Excel file that calculates the number of trips per hour and the average distance per hour. Let's take a look. In column B, we have our inputs, minimum and maximum distance. We're only going to include trips between those distances. In column E, we'll show the number of trips per hour and the average distance per hour. Let's go up to the menu, select Codcel, there it is, and click Run. We wait a few seconds. And now you can see the results starting to populate for each hour. For hour 0, that's midnight, we have over 1.4 million trips across 2025. And the average distance is about 4.21 miles. Down in column J, we have a simple sum adding up all trips between 0.5 and 50 miles. That's over 45 million trips. So unless Excel has quietly changed while we weren't looking, we're clearly not getting this from a normal Excel table. Let's click into the graphs. Here we have trips per hour. Looks like 6 p.m. is the busiest time. And below that, average distance per hour, with longer trips around 5 a.m. Now yes, these graphs are very basic. You could turn this into a much nicer dashboard. That part is still your job. Codcel's job is making this possible in the first place. And just to mention, we also have examples with over 1 billion rows. So millions really aren't the limit here. Let's rewind a bit, and I'll show you how we got here. First, I downloaded 12 parquet files, one for each month of 2025. Here they are. Normally, you'd need some kind of database or tooling to even read these. They're not something you can just open like a CSV, but with Codcel Desktop, we can open them directly. So let's do that. Top left, menu, tools, view parquet file. Now we just drag a file in, and there we go. This one has over 3 million rows. We can even run SQL queries on it, but I did promise no SQL today. Scrolling down, you can see the first 500 rows. Headers at the top, very similar to CSV. Now we need a small sample of this data in Excel, so we can build our formulas. So we select all, copy selected rows, and paste into a blank Excel sheet. And just like that, we have our table with headers and sample data. Now we rename the sheet to T_yellow_trip data. That tells Codcel this is a table. Because the name matches our parquet files, Codcel will automatically use those full datasets later. Now let's build the calculations. First, we define our inputs, minimum and maximum distance. Now we start with hour 0, which is midnight. We create a formula using SUMPRODUCT that filters trips by hour and by distance range and counts them. Right now it returns 0 because our sample is small. We copy that down for all 24 hours. You can already see a few hours with trips in the sample. Now for average distance. Again, we use a formula that filters by hour and distance, sums the distances, and divides by the number of trips. We wrap it in IFERROR just to keep things clean. Copy that down as well. Now we simply tag our inputs and outputs, 2 inputs and 24 outputs. Then we create one combined output called trips and average distance. And that's it. We save the file and move to Codcel. In Codcel, we create a new project. Let's call it Yellow Taxis. Now we drag in the Excel file and all the parquet files. They're copied into the project. We open the menu, go to Generate Project. Here we select Codcel Excel Python interface. This builds everything locally. There is a full UI option to We will select that and come back to it later. Now we click Generate. Codcel processes all 48 million rows, builds the calculations, and generates everything. Excel, VBA, Python, and more. This takes about 2 minutes. Upload, generate, done. Let's see what we've got. In Codcel tables, we now have 5 parquet tables, each one around 10 million rows. And the last about 8 million. That's our 48 million. We could dive into the Rust or Python code, but today is about no code. Just note, you get the full source code, nothing hidden. Now let's go to the Excel Python interface. Open the combined output, trips and average distance. Inside we have a Python file and an Excel file. The Excel file uses xlwings to call Python via VBA, which then calls the calculation engine. And by the way, xlwings is a great tool. We're just making it a bit easier to use. After a quick setup, installing xlwings and compiling, which takes about 5 minutes, we're ready, no coding required. Let's open the Excel file, enable macros, go to the Codcel menu. Click Run, and after a few seconds, everything fills in. 48 million rows. From Excel, no VBA, no Python, no SQL, no Parquet knowledge required. And importantly, all the logic was defined using Excel formulas. Now, yes, it looks a bit basic. We will tidy it up. Rename outputs, add totals, and add graphs. It still looks a bit basic, but now you can focus on building a proper dashboard, instead of wiring everything together. If you want to change where inputs or outputs sit, you can do that in the generated Python file. It is in the same folder next to the Excel file. For example, here it's reading inputs from B3 and B4. You can change that. Same with output cells. Back in Excel, let's change the distance range to 50 to 200 miles. Click Run, and a few seconds later, we get updated results. Fewer trips, as expected. Graphs update automatically. So we've gone from a normal Excel file to something very powerful in minutes. As a little bonus, we also generated a full UI. Here it is. Same inputs. Let's try 25 to 50 miles. Click Run, and a few seconds later, results. The full UI also includes testing tools and more, all from the same Excel file. That's really the idea behind Codcel. You choose what to generate. Excel interfaces, full UIs, services, even AI services, across multiple languages, Rust, Python, Java, C#, and more. If you want to learn more, feel free to visit us anytime at codcel.io.